much. Let me thank Senator Schumer and Leader Pelosi for your fearless, bold, and visionary leadership. I want to just say a couple of things with regarding this 100 days of the Trump presidency. Sadly, in those 100 days, we've seen from President Trump what you know and what we're saying today, and that is a bunch of broken promises. He promised great plans for health care, plans that would be much less expensive and much better. Instead, he's pushing a bill that would kick 24 million people off of health care, raise costs on the middle class, and hike prices on the sick, pregnant women, and older Americans. Now, that's not a great plan, Donald Trump. That's a broken promise. At his inauguration, President Trump promised that the forgotten men and women of our country would be forgotten no longer. Instead, he put forth a proposal that would devastate working-class communities and end life-saving programs like Meals on Wheels. Now, the federal budget, well, any budget really, is a moral document. It reveals the values of an administration and a government. But we have to remember that Steve Bannon said that one of their goals was to deconstruct the administrative state. Well, I just have to say, perhaps we should give him an A for his budget in terms of deconstructing the administrative state, because this appears to be what is taking place. His disastrous budget shows that Donald Trump never really cared about the forgotten. He only cares about his friends and his wealthy himself and his wealthy friends. My heart goes out to the American people, especially those who believed that Donald Trump would fight for them. Instead of fulfilling his promises, he's left hardworking families out to dry. But while President Trump cozies up to billionaires on Wall Street, the opposition, of course, is raising and being very vibrant across America. People don't want to see a 30% cut in our State Department for diplomacy, when in fact we have wars and rumors of wars pending. Diplomacy is the best way to prevent violence and conflict from taking place. Yet in this budget, we have a proposed 30% cut. The fight to protect our communities really has just begun. When you look at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, for example, huge budget cuts for people who deserve decent, clean, safe housing, yet the president is not on the side of the people. He is turning his backs on working families. That's not an option. We're not going to let that happen. He's turning his back on seniors and the disabled. When you look at the budget, the huge budget cuts that affect our seniors and the disabled, that's not an option for us. You know, Mr. President, let me just say, you should get acquainted, quite frankly, with losing some of these fights, because the American people are not going to stand for broken promises. And we're going to fight, and we're going to make sure that your broken promises are raised very clearly and publicly to the people, but just know that the public and the people understand that our budget is a moral document, and we're not going to let this immoral budget affect the daily lives of hardworking Americans. Together, we're going to stand for American values, and we're going to put forth our budget, which really looks at how we ensure the American dream for each and every American. Thank you again.